Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shred and Soul.
I'm Shred, aka Kevin Wood.
And I'm Soul, aka Wind Hughes. Well, today we're going to bring to you better living through chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
That used to be a 60s kind of adage, something like great life through chemicals.
Well, it is a great life through chemicals, and but the punchline is we're creating our own chemicals.
Yeah, chemicals that are natural to our body,
Mm-hmm.
chemicals that are inside of us, and how they relate to our experience.
And our experience is basically what we experience.
That sounds like a Jimi Hendrix line.
Are we experienced?
So, one of the things Kevin and I were experiencing this week was a lot of stress. Just work things going on, some health stuff going on, not being able to fire optimally, and things taking our time and energy and distracting us. And, typically when we're stressed, we'll, eat well, sleep well, try and get exercise, maybe meditate, maybe do some breath work, even if we're just doing the dishes, breathing, and, just a list of things that we do to help ourselves relax. We did the bowls last week,
Mm-hmm.
our shred and bowl, and the bowls are very calming and very aligning and really optimal for health.
And I do love playing guitar. It's always a good therapy for me to get the thing out, get warmed up,
Yeah. We know the things that we do. But sometimes, we might turn to that extra glass of wine or that extra chemical that we put into our body that has some kind of effect. I don't know about chemical, maybe how do we eat, but some wine.
Yeah, but we're not gonna discredit that because we've all had experiences where we've had a drink with somebody and we've had a great conversation.
I love wine, champagne. You've seen us have champagne
without a hangover and having a good experience.
Yeah. In moderation or just in minimal amounts, that's fine. But sometimes under stress, and is the world right now stressful? Oh my goodness, we just attacked Iran.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just happened, and things are spinning out of control out there. And regardless of whether you were blue, red, purple, orange, or green, stress is stress.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you are happy we are there, whether you're not, whether you like this administration, whether you don't. The economy is what it is. War is what it is. It impacts us all, and it stresses us all. So we wanted to look at, besides the things we could do that are obvious to help us cope with stress and to feel better just in our lives, we wanted to do a dive into our own natural chemistry of neurotransmitters.
Neurotransmitters.
Yeah.
It's a new thing for me. I've heard that some of these terms in passing and used them a couple times, but it's amazing how many there are and what they do. Some of them overlap, as you'll find out.
Yeah. So, happiness and health through good chemistry. Neurotransmitters are chemicals. They exist naturally in our bodies. They impact almost everything we do, our ability to think, our ability to move, our moods, energy levels. I mean, almost everything is impacted. Feeling, being in love, sexuality. I mean, every aspect of our life is modified, enhanced, or negatively impacted depending upon the levels of these neurotransmitters in our body. Do you want to go through these now?
Yeah.
Okay, I have, I'm going to do the first one. We've all heard about dopamine. I think the majority of people have heard about dopamine and, what's a dopamine hit and things that, are a dopamine hit and getting addicted to certain kind of games or things, or a dopamine hit maybe of seeing that you had extra likes on your page or we get a new subscriber, things like that. But dopamine, what I love about dopamine is it's the love chemical. Just like we can eat chocolate. Chocolate has a lot of that in it. But the love chemical, when we're in love, we're feeling enormous dopamine. Why do we love looking at our kids or our grandkids or our cat? There's this love feeling. And another aspect is norepinephrine is part of the love chemistry, and oxytocin, which is a hormone, is in there as well. And one of the things that we feel, I want to read you some of the signs of when we feel symptoms that are low levels of dopamine, which we all know, depression. And interestingly, ADHD is considered a symptom of low dopamine.
Yeah.
Our inability to handle stress, right?
Right.
Being tired.
Too much information.
Too much, overload.
Yeah, overload, and then you just shut down.
Yeah. Mood swings, anxiety, all of these could possibly reflect that our dopamine levels are too low.
Mm-hmm.
And so what can we do? It's really important that we look at setting goals for ourselves so we can achieve something and be successful. Because why?
Mm-hmm.
We get a dopamine hit.
Mm-hmm.
So we start structuring our lives to have experiences that will give us more dopamine.
Right. And wouldn't life be great if it was nothing but dopamine hits?
Lots of dopamine hits, which is what we're all addicted to.
But you see, the thing is, if you open yourself up to simpler dopamine hits.
Like what?
Like looking at a flower, or enjoying a bird, or hearing a piece of music, or seeing something that looks beautiful to you, or it sounds beautiful. I don't know.
It infects our chemistry.
It doesn't have to be like a like or a repost or something.
No.
Yeah.
But when they talk about people scrolling, why they're addicted,
Mm-hmm.
it often has to do with the dopamine hits that we get, and the neurotransmitters that are impacted by what we perceive that acknowledgement or that love.
It is nice to get a like and hit subscribe.
For us, forget the neurotransmitters, right? Have that dopamine hit.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
That's true. I'm glad you brought that out. We're not telling you to not subscribe or like us.
I know, because it is what it is.
I mean, some of the things we can do, like I said, are set ourselves up for successes, for goal setting where we achieve something and feel really good. Meditation and mindfulness are really, really helpful for raising dopamine levels because we feel good and there's less stress. Getting a lot of sleep, sunlight. Sunlight increases our dopamine levels, which is really important. I feel so much better in the sun. I lived for 14 years somehow in the Northwest, up in Washington, and I don't think I could ever go back because my neurochemistry was very affected, which a lot of people saw up there. But the sun is really important. A lot of work, really moving with your body is really important.
What about too much dopamine?
Well, there are symptoms of too much dopamine. Being agitated, not being able to focus because you're so agitated, mania, a high libido. It's like all your senses and things where you want stimulation and positivity, all of those are heightened. Hyperactivity, insomnia. So some of the things we can do when we have low dopamine are think of natural essential oils or foods. Lemon, pepper, rosemary are very helpful in increasing dopamine. And you can do essential oils with that. And if we have too much dopamine, we're agitated, though it's very uncommon. Scientifically, they say there's not as common to have high levels of dopamine. But you can just really work at exercising and increasing all the other neurotransmitters that make us feel good. One thing I wanted to mention, I'll mention it down here. Go right ahead.
Speaking of neurotransmitters, norepinephrine, you can have a deficiency of that, and it'll give you depression. It'll cause poor memory. It'll make you feel like you're down in the dumps, and it kind of overlaps a little bit with the dopamine and some of the other ones that we're going to mention.
Yeah, there's a lot of similar symptoms.
But there's this thing called vestibular activities that will help improve. For instance, if you're low on norepinephrine, you can do an active vestibular exercise.
Well, there's two. This is a good point if I can interject. There are two different modes of vestibular movements. One is called calming vestibular movements, and another one's called, for some reason, alerting vestibular movements. So when you're down, you do the alerting movements. Is that what you were talking about?
Exactly what I'm talking about. And this is a new thing for me. Everybody always says, well, go for a walk, or, lift some weights, or, play some tennis or something. It does definitely work. I think the activity level is what they're talking about in a calming vestibular activity, right? What would one of those be like?
Calming?
Mm-hmm.
You know how when we're stressed, or you'll see a child when they're upset, or sometimes people with autism, rocking. Rocking is a calming. A calming movement, and that has to do with the inner ear. All the vestibular things have to do with the inner ear. So calming, like a rocking, swinging, go outside and go to the playground, go on a swing.
Yeah, right. And you're freaking out because you have too much.
What are the signs of that?
Yeah. Increased blood pressure, heart rate, hyperactivity, anxiety. I mean, the common stuff, right? So you can just go sit in your room and rock back and forth. And it should help. I think
you need calming for that.
Yeah, calming.
And they cite lemon, orange, lavender, and we know that for essential oils. They're real calming. Oils, we put them in our diffuser. They're very calming.
And it's amazing too when you look at some of the. I looked up some of the neurotransmitters before we did this to get a greater understanding, and so many of them cite egg yolks as being an important way to balance this. Egg yolks, and another two things came up: exercise and sleep.
Sleep.
I mean, how many people out there are lacking in enough sleep?
And good sleep.
Yeah, or sedentary because your job requires you to sit all day long. Stuff like that.
So I'm going to rock because we're sitting. Rocking's good. That's why these chairs swivel. All my office chairs here at home and at work, they swivel because I like to rock.
Yeah.
I have more of an understanding of why. I associated a lot of that with the meridians in the body because in polarity therapy, which is an energetic healing modality, one of the things you see is when you close like this, like rocking, the meridians create circles, and that's very calming. So I would tell someone to sort of kneel down, go down like this, fetal position, go into fetal position, and your circuitry completes, and it's very, very calming. So I could see where rocking kind of going in would do that as well.
But do that at home,
Not on the bus?
Not on the bus or at the coffee shop.
But there are things we can do on the bus. We could deep breathe.
Yeah, deep breathe.
Yeah, we can do mindfulness. We can laugh. Yeah. What else do you have?
Well, interestingly enough, glutamate is another neurotransmitter that's very much in the same category as norepinephrine. Glutamate, you can get a glutamate rush from drinking a cup of coffee in the morning. That is verifiable. I can't tell you the last time I did not have a glutamate rush first thing in the morning.
And I think we need the glutamate, don't we, for focus? Like being alert and focusing?
Focus, ADD, all of these things, fatigue, learning issues, that's what it says here. And so if you're low on glutamate, alerting vestibular exercises or vestibular exercises, which I think would probably include a brisk walk, or maybe some jumping jacks, or maybe a few push-ups.
Yeah.
And
isn't that pretty similar to this one?
It's almost the same thing.
I don't have my glasses on. Give me a second here. Oh,
acetylcholine.
Acetylcholine.
Yeah.
It's amazing what glasses will do besides the chemistry. Glasses really help.
That's a neurotransmitter. It's transmitting the
vision into it's calming me because I'm not squinting.
Right.
So the learning disorders, right, has to do with glutamate and acetylcholine.
Yeah, and okay, if you have too little then of course you're not going to be able to pay attention to anything. You won't be able to concentrate. You're going to be, you'll fall behind. You'll get anxious. It's just a vicious cycle. And if you have too much of it with this glutamate and acetylcholine, you'll become depressed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but the bottom line is this. You don't have to worry too much about it, because almost every one of these neurotransmitters that I've just talked about can be affected by diet and exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want balance. You want your neurotransmitters to be optimum. So take care of yourself, basically.
Yeah.
And
go look it up. Go Google it. Do a deep dive into these so that you can take responsibility, right? We've been talking a lot about that before we read the last few, because we've had some medical challenge or medical scares, which turned out to be fine. But in the stress of it all, we certainly, needed some help with some of this, and looking at diet and looking at what things we can do to handle our stress is really, really important. Yeah,
meditation, mindfulness is an extremely good way to calm yourself down and even bring yourself into balance, so you'll have energy, or you'll have the calm you need. It's like a one-stop shop for neurotransmitter maintenance.
Mm-hmm. Or you can, if you want to have a good rush that affects a lot of these, go watch some stand-up comedy. Mm-hmm. Seriously. It makes you laugh. You feel good. You can focus on something that makes you laugh. It's happy. It's stimulating. It has an amazing impact on your neurotransmitters. Something as simple as that, or watch a kitten, makes you laugh and
or
feel
today
happy.
we deposited little figurines of fairies in the forest.
We have a beautiful, what is it called? The giant tree park, big redwood forest. A private walking forest, and you can just walk on these easy trails. And we went with the kids and the grandkids. It was my request for my most recent birthdays. This was one of the things I wanted to do, and we finally did it. And I got boxes of little fairies and gnomes and little accoutrements of fairy life. And I wanted us to go, which we did today, to walk through the forest, which is like a fairy forest, giant ferns and enormous giant redwood trees, and just hide these strategically in places. Yeah. As we were walking, and there's a little grove of stumps, or there's a whole grove of ferns, or look at that tree. It's so interesting. And finding little nooks and crannies where we could put the fairies and the gnomes so that someone else could come along and find them, and they would get a dopamine hit and a serotonin hit, and everything would make them happy, just to sprinkle a little happiness.
And we got the same by seeing the little kids so excited. And
there was a family that walked by, and the two little kids saw a fairy, and they were squealing like that, like fairies, and it was immediate dopamine, right?
It was so cool to see. It was just wonderful, and so
I had so much fun.
Elevated everybody's mood.
Yeah, it made us all really happy, and it gave happiness to other people in this crazy, crazy world. Sometimes. We're looking at our stress and what makes us happy, or what's affecting us. And often the thing that we could do that's most effective in bringing us joy is giving and bringing joy to others. And so, go buy some fairies and sprinkle them around the park, or do something that, brings joy to someone, and not because you need the hit, but just because you're sharing and spreading the love and spreading the joy, which has an effect on all these things.
Yeah, it'll give you a hit too. I mean, you do something nice, and it always comes back immediately, I think.
I want to jump to serotonin.
Let's talk about serotonin. It's almost like the king or the queen neurotransmitter. It's
serotonin.
Top dog, maybe.
Serotonin.
I don't know.
Dopamine, maybe too, for me.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, serotonin, very common one, like you said, that we're familiar with that. And the symptoms you might see if you're low on it are sadness, apathy, lethargy, impaired memory and attention. Sleepiness during the day, in aggression. It's like depression and aggression. There's an agitation with being tired, depressed, Apathy, that's a sign. When you just, those feelings of depression, when you just don't give a damn anymore, that sort of feeling can indicate low serotonin levels. So again, getting out into the sunlight, anything that would change your mood, that give you gratitude, aerobic exercise is excellent for serotonin levels. Heavy work activities and alerting vestibular activities, so stimulating, gets the vestibular area, which is the inner ear, balanced out. Outdoor, being in nature, like today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Calming visual input, so calming art, things like that, all increases serotonin. Belly breathing, deep breathing, classical music, not metal. Classical music increases serotonin levels. And one thing I wanted to mention about serotonin that I find so interesting is that serotonin is very involved in love. It has an impact on love. So you get all these dopamine hits and oxytocin and neuroepinephrine. All of these things are affected, give you a state of love. But when serotonin levels drop, which happens when you fall in love, it creates the situation where you're not able to attend to anything other than what's right in front of you. So think of serotonin levels when they're low, right? Impaired memory, impaired attention, sleepiness, like a lethargy. So everything else falls away as the serotonin level drops and you're only focused on that person and on that love. And the serotonin levels will stay low for quite a while. And then as you start to come sort of back down to reality, suddenly the ability to see the rest of the world and other people opens up. Your serotonin levels rising. So isn't that interesting? I find that so interesting.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. And if you have too much serotonin, which is very, very rare, it's kind of like it's very rare to have too much dopamine, you could hallucinate, have seizures. That's a serious thing. But most people don't have an excess of serotonin. Yeah, we have two more, but before we do, I do want to say that this is just, our little dive wanting to share with you. It's not complete. It's not medical advice. We're not telling you to do any of this. It's just information.
We're not physicians.
No. It's just information and things that we're aware of that help us.
It's stuff we think about, though, because we have supplements, drawers with all this stuff, and we think about having that optimum neurotransmitter balance. So it's part of our daily life. Although digging in is more fascinating because, of course, you hear the adage, "Oh, this particular neurotransmitter in supplement form is good for you. It'll make you think better." Like the next one, GABA.
Yeah.
I've been taking GABA for years, and I just thought, GABA, it's probably like a tropical plant or something.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. It's from the GABA tree or something. I don't know. But I took it because it says it's great for your memory. But too little GABA can give you anxiety, sensitivity to sensory input.
One of the things I want to say is that sensory input, when there's not a lot of GABA, you feel a sense like it's all too much. Too much noise, too much visual, too much auditory, too much. It's just too much.
Yeah.
It's sensory overload when there's not enough GABA.
But then what do we do? And the first thing that comes up on the list to do if you don't have enough GABA going on, and GABA is made inside you. It's not from the GABA tree. Rigorous exercise. Rigorous. I think depending on your health or your physical state, it could be running up a flight of stairs.
Yeah, it says increase your heart rate.
Increase your heart
radically.
Rate. Yeah, just go for it. Play some basketball, tennis.
Yeah. Outdoor nature activities. Again, belly breathing, that deep breathing.
Yeah. Yeah, but then if you have too much GABA, and I don't know how that would happen, you get the impaired short-term memory and impaired coordination. So then that requires sustained aerobic exercise, like jogging maybe, Depending on your state of fitness, jogging
Yeah.
could be like an extreme.
Yeah. Or just a power walk.
Yeah. So it's
Or
all
chair
kind of-
yoga.
it's like if you wanted to do one or the other, I would choose running for vigorous, and maybe rocking in fetal position as being non-vigorous.
Mm-hmm. Calming.
Mm-hmm.
Alerting versus stimulating versus calming. One of the things it says here again is massage, touch.
Yeah.
A number of these
Oh, yeah,
touch,
that's
whether
what
it's rigorous touch,
Mhm.
if you need like that stimulating, deep touching, or light, gentle touching will be
Yeah.
calming. But touch, mindfulness, meditation, breathing, is definitely listed, right?
Right. You can be empathetic with your touch. Empathy doesn't always come through hearing somebody's story. If you know somebody's story, then of course the touch can give you the feeling that the person is having. So, when you're going to caress somebody and assist them, like it's going to be okay, you can transmit that feeling right through your hand, and you can feel, it. And judge from where that comes from as to how vigorous you're going to be.
Well, deep massage,
Mm-hmm.
It's deep. It's getting the deep layers and pain, and
Yeah.
a gentle calming massage, is something else.
Or if somebody was really freaking out, and you grab them by the shoulders and shake them and say, "Snap out of it."
Is that massage? Deep massage? Rigorous massage?
Rigorous massage. I don't know. That
You
I'm
wouldn't do
joking,
that.
but yeah, different situations require different levels of massage, different levels of exercise.
Yeah. And the last one on our list is endorphins. And I think that we all have a lot of enjoyment of endorphins when they kick in, and endorphins will lower our pain. It's really, really helpful with lowering pain levels. Now, some of the things you'll notice when you have too little endorphins is that you can't tolerate pain, and you have a real high stress, like it can't tolerate stress very well, high anxiety, and very poor sleep. A number of these say insomnia or poor sleep. So again, it's exercise, massage, mindfulness, breathing, meditation. And this says low intensity exercise. So you don't want to come in and hammer this one away.
Mm-hmm.
So if you listen to, wait a minute, sex, laughing, and dark chocolate raise your endorphin levels.
That sounds like date night.
It might be our date night, right? What is sex, laughing, and chocolate? I have a bowl of dark chocolate in my office waiting room, and the reason is because it affects the neurotransmitters to have that dark chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
People know when they leave, they're going to feel good walking out the door and having some dark chocolate. But sex actually has a chemical benefit in our bodies. It increases our endorphin levels. And that's a quick, easy way.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it might mean also sex with yourself. Or is it just the love aspect or the touch aspect? I don't know.
The oxytocin, right?
Yeah,
Or
oxytocin.
Oxytocin. It's not a neurotransmitter. It's a hormone that gets released when you're touching. It comes from physical touch with another person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think that it would be more effective with another person than ourselves?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
But if you're alone, don't have a
test
partner,
that.
I think it'll still have some benefits.
Well, I don't know. It depends. But anyway, try it.
I think you should try it. Compare the two.
I have. I spent my entire teenage years
creating your own endorphin level.
Yeah, and it doesn't work quite as good. But hey, if it's all you got, by all means.
So do a dive. We covered today dopamine, norepinephrine, glutamate, acetylcholine, serotonin, GABA, and endorphins. There are others. And have fun. Dive in and look at how we can impact our own chemistry so directly with such great impact. Just by looking at how we move, what we move, but specifically for those endorphins. So maybe look up a list of neurotransmitters. and see with the endorphins, the serotonin, the dopamine, like what the symptoms are. And you might be able to isolate what you're feeling there, and then you can look at scents, foods, things that are apt to increase or decrease these.
Yeah.
Like you said, exercises.
Mhm. Yeah, egg yolks, exercise, some good healthy food. It could be meat, it could be vegetables. It's all kind of like common sense kind of stuff, you know?
But you can tailor it. You can tailor it if you know that you have that much of an impact and ability to impact your chemistry, and not just by that extra glass of wine, but the healthy chemicals that are natural to us, that we actually can smartly identify what our symptoms are and maybe look at how to enhance those.
Yeah, and then you can go to the vitamin aisle and pick out the right one.
Make sure it's a good quality brand. Some of the things we do, so we have a couple of things we do regularly. This is one. These are not sponsors. We don't get anything for these products. We're just sharing things that work for us, may not work for you, nor are we doctors recommending these. Just sharing information. This is Olly, Olly. They have a bunch of gummies like this. No cannabis in them, so it's just a regular gummy. And it's for stress. And it has, what's the first thing in there? GABA, right?
Yeah.
Has GABA in there, lemon balm, and a few other things. And we take these in the evening to sort of de-stress and help us sleep. But they're all natural, and they're just, no chemicals in there other than natural good things. They're really effective. They have a bunch of products in this Olly, Olly.
They are very enjoyable.
And then there are times when, especially when we're doing our wellness, which we've really made some turns lately in terms of how we're eating, what we're doing. And one of the things is just not having alcohol a lot. We have our Friday night date, and we'll go out and have a drink or two then. But sometimes that's it. We just don't feel like it. But we sometimes want to have mood balancing. And there are a lot of adaptogens and botanicals in a can now. And these are mood altering, relaxing, stress reduction, mood altering, meaning they have an effect on the neurotransmitters. They increase our mood. And this brand is our favorite. It's called Breeze, B-R-E-Z.
It's delicious too. I'm drinking it right now.
It's really good. This particular one, they have two that we like, one called Dream and one called Flow, F-L-O-W. Dream is a little heavier, relaxing. We use that in the evening. But just sharing, again, may not be for you. We get they're not a sponsor. We get nothing. Just sharing the things that we like. But as with all things, check with your doctor. If it's a concern about herbs and ingredients, make sure that you're not allergic to any of the things that you might find in them. But that's some of the stuff we do besides bowls and that wine sometimes.
Yeah.
That whiskey for you.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah. Or a good meal.
Yeah.
Or a good joke.
Or some good sex.
Good sex. Good sex does it all the time. And some dark chocolate. You got to add the chocolate and the laughter in there.
Oh, yeah. All of the above.
Yeah, chocolate while we're laughing with stand-up comedians. We watched Jeselnik. What's his first name?
Anthony Jeselnik.
Anthony Jeselnik the other night. He's raw. Yeah. Not for everyone. But boy, did we laugh.
Yeah, he's funny. Yeah.
He's really good. So yeah, good comedians. Have a good time. Go plant some fairies or buy someone a cup of coffee or spread the love out there. And the love is like darshan from a master. It washes over you and changes you too.
Yeah. And if you feel like you have a problem with your neurotransmitters, go see a physician or a naturopath or somebody who's going to be able to help you dial it in and give you the help you need.
Yeah. Well, on that note, with our adaptogen botanical drinks, here's to health through good chemicals. And just a reminder that April 1st, our EP will be dropping, our Shred and Bowl EP. So maybe go back and look at previous episodes for our Shred and Bowl.
And we're going to do another one. We have another one in the can. So
yeah, at least one more.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't wait to do more of that. And we'll put out that EP April 1st.
So go for a dopamine hit, subscribe, like, give us a dopamine hit, please.
Yeah.
For right now, trust we're not abusing our dopamine. Give us some dopamine.
Mhm.
Give us a hit.
We'll trade you some GABA for dopamine.
We'll send them some GABA.
No, yeah.
Send them a little serotonin or a little endorphins. Here's some
Or a way to make
chocolate.
your own.
Okay.
All right.
So thanks for being here with us. We love seeing you, hearing you, and please shredandsoul@gmail.com. Send your emails and comment too.
Yeah. See you next time.
Bye.